So hello everyone, welcome to this particular video. As you can see on the screen here, basically without wasting your time, firstly let me give you an overview or the context of this video. That is, in the previous one video we talked about part 1 of the PySpark interview questions, and it was a part 1. Basically we talked about all these questions with the proper explanation and everything. So in this we'll be going one step further and we'll be creating a new notebook, and where to get all these things, a GitHub link is there in the description where our repository is there, free of cost. Go there, download these things, try to learn it, try to get those insights and everything. All the type of questions are there. Slowly, gradually we have done many these kind of videos, and in the future we'll be making more. So let's do a plus sign here and let's create a new notebook. Okay, the name of this notebook will be same but as a part 2, and what all things we are going to do, basically that we'll be talking about. Okay, so in this particular thing, I think so. Okay, let's create it here only. I think so it got created outside. Let's create it here. Okay, so in this particular notebook, what exactly we are going to do? We are going to discuss further more questions about PySpark that are usually asked in the interviews. Very important. But before that, I'll be doing a common setup, like commonly used kind of libraries or import statements, which majorly you might have known about, and we'll be talking about those things because it is very important. Firstly, because see, in most of the programs you'll be writing it, and first thing first, that is very important. Whenever you are going to use Spark, there will be a Spark session you have to build, a Spark context you have to import. Okay, so basically why we are not doing on the Databricks, because Databricks is built on top of Spark and we don't need to explicitly import the Spark session because it is built on top of Spark. So Spark session is not needed, okay, to import, but you can import it if you have that habit of importing, so you can do that. First of all, basically, so we'll be doing some common setup, we'll be importing some of the things, and I'll be telling you what exactly this means. Okay, so firstly, from PySpark.sql import your functions .functions. This is the first one, that is very important. Why these are important, I'll tell you one by one. Firstly, let me write these things so that it is easier for me also to explain. Functions, then types. Okay, the next one is your window. Now let me explain you basically why these things are important. Okay, so one by one, let's talk about the first thing first, that is Spark session. If you are talking about Spark session, as I told you, Spark session is already there. So in this particular this particular Databricks, we are not importing it because it is built on top of Spark, so no need to import Spark session. First thing first, but Spark session is your entry point whenever you work on different kind of like normal Python code or normal normal PyCharm or something like that. So there you have to import Spark sessions, because Spark session is the entry point. Is the entry point for working with the PySpark data frames. Whenever you talk about PySpark data frame and all, that is the entry point of that. Okay, so that is why. Next thing what we are doing this one, that is first one we did, from PySpark.sql.functions import star. What does it mean? Because in further questions, or maybe we are going to use column, we are going to use explode, we are going to use split, we are going to use trim, when, sum, count, these kind of functionalities. So these kind of functionalities are under this particular library called as PySpark.sql.functions import star. That's why we imported everything from it. Next thing is your types. We are importing the type also. Maybe I want to build, going on in the lecture, maybe I want to build some kind of structures like manual structure, like struct type I want to declare. I want to explicitly give a schema, create a schema explicitly of a data frame. I want to declare that this schema will be there of my data frame. It will be string, it will be integer, it will be this thing. So that type, that for that basically this line is there. And if I want to use any kind of window functions in PySpark, like your lead, lag, ranking, running totals, or other kind of Windows functions, if I have to import or use, so there this particular library will be helpful. That's why I have just imported it. Let's write it, common libraries imported. Okay, so here you can give the comments also, like it will be coming it out here. This is a feature of a Databricks, that is it will be showing as a table of contents here. Okay, let's zoom in a bit. Okay, so for a better view. So first thing first, first question 1. Okay, question 1. This is the first question. First question says basically that is I want to, if I am getting some data from an API JSON kind of format, if I am getting, so basically how exactly I will flatten that nested, because suppose if there is a API, I'll show you a structure type of API. I'll just create an API, just copy and paste it. Suppose this is an API. Okay, this is an API type of data. That is basically there is a, I'll rename these people. Let's give our names. Something. Okay, so basically we have 3 customers. Anurag is there, he has ordered 2 items. Stuti is there, who have ordered only 1 item, that is keyboard, and Rahul is there, who have not ordered anything. Okay, this kind of data, whenever you hit an API, you will get these JSON kind of nested data. What is a nested data? So you can see that one account, like this list is there. Inside that list, basically you can see a set is there. This is a set, and inside that set there are values. One particular order, one person can order multiple items, right? So basically this is called a nested. Inside the orders, directly we are nesting the details, like order ID is there, product is there, amount is there, order details are there. So that can be called as nested. So if I want to flatten this means in a row wise normal, so that business people can see and query on that directly. Because if you give this particular data to any person who is not having a knowledge of data engineering or not having that technical knowledge of numbers and everything, so he cannot query, because right now we are seeing only 3 orders, maybe 3 lakh orders are there, 3 lakh customers are there. In that case, you will be not able to see all the data at once, and it will be impossible for anyone to do that. So basically we will maintain a proper this thing, and we will be here, I'll give this thing, flatten the nested order data. Okay, that is my question. Basically I want to flatten my nested order data. So how exactly I can do that? That is my question, that is my main thing. Okay, so that I have to do here, that is okay. So this I have to flatten this particular list. Okay, so source, whenever you hit an API, you will be getting a customer data. Every customer have multiple orders inside an array. You can see that this is an array and they have multiple orders. These are the dictionary of orders. Okay, so this is the business wants you to row wise enter the orders row wise, so that they can directly see the order and work on that. So firstly, how exactly you will do that? So I want to define a schema first. Okay, if I have this order right now, so first step will be my step 1 for question 1. What I'll do, I will define the schema. Basically. Yeah, this is my order ID, this is my product, this is my this thing, what all kind of things will be there. And I'll also add your customer details in a different table. Customer, like customer name, customer ID, orders, these kind of details. So I'll maintain 2 schemas. So how you will do that? Firstly, I'll say order schema. So right now only we talked about one thing. That is basically what we talked about. We talked about struct types, we imported this now, so we can explicitly define a schema out of it. So how we can do that? We'll say array type, and in this, basically this is what we want. This whole array we want inside this. Okay, one by one, whatever type of order, whatever nesting, how many orders the person did, all those kind of struct type. And in this, basically I will define the things. Okay, so in this I will try to define the things. That is first thing first, struct field. Okay, struct field. What is the first field I want to give? That is my order ID. Next is product, and next is amount. So I'll just copy this, give it here, and I also need to define what type it is. So it is integer type. Integer type it is. Okay, so like this we have to define. And what type of, you wanted nullable, you wanted what kind of, so I'll just give it true. Okay, next, that is next column. Next column is your same. I'll copy paste first. These will give you suggestions also, but better to just write it by yourself when you are practicing also after seeing this video, so that it will be useful for you. Okay, so you will understand everything, and if you don't write, it will be difficult for you. Okay, so it is for your betterment only. I'm just telling it out like this. So basically what we have like your struct type. We have a schema of orders. Okay, as you can see, what is wrong in this? Okay, I have enclosed into a double inverted comma, then it is looking fine. Okay, these all solutions you'll be getting it into the GitHub also, so you can directly download it from there also. Next thing is our customer schema. Customer, and this is just a schema. I am not creating a data out of it right now. I am just giving the schema. So just we'll copy paste this thing only. First we'll copy paste this whole thing. That is struct type. And what are the fields in this? There is a customer ID, name, and customer ID. Customer name is there. Okay, customer ID, customer name is there. Give a hyphen. And what are the orders? What type of orders are there? And in this orders you have a nested data, so I'll pass this particular person here. You can pass a schema also inside the like your what type of data you want, so we'll pass it here. So exactly that is the thing. So explanation, if I give you orders column, in the orders column you can see it is not simple string or thing. This is a array type of value. Orders column is a array type of value, right? It is having nested data, correct? So it contains array. That's why we have defined it as array type here. Okay. Next thing, inside that array you can see that there are different 3 major columns are there: order ID, product, and amount. So we have declared that. That is why we have given it as array type with struct type. Okay, so array type with a schema of struct, different kind of values are there. So now let's create the source data. Okay, so this is the data. Now let's give it to this person and let's see how the data looks like. Okay, so expected result if you want to see, so I'll show you. Display the data in data frame. Okay, this is the second step. Step 2 of question 1. I am explicitly giving like this, so that when you are practicing it will be better for you. And this is how slowly, gradually we have to go, so that we understand the things. Otherwise what will happen, we will not understand it and things will be like slowly. We have to understand things, then we have to go. If you'll not understand the things, it is very difficult for you to write these kind of code. So we have to create a data frame first. Okay, so how you'll create a data frame, you have to give the customer data, that is your data, major data, and your customer schema. Okay, this schema you have to pass. So when you will pass this, so directly it will create your data frame, and next step you can directly show, display the customer df. This df directly you can display it here. Okay, let's see if there is an error or problem. We'll see. And how the data looks like. If I'll pass like this, how exactly the data looks like, you can see it here. This is an array type, 2 type of values are there, so we can see array 1 0 1 like this. So this is what the requirement was. The requirement was to showcase the things, and it is now easier to understand. And now basically now comes the next step. There are layers to it. So now if you want to explode this also, you want to break this column, this particular column, in different rows. If you want to do that, that can be also done by using explode. Explode is a function. Majorly whenever you'll be working with the APIs in the live environment also, you'll be seeing these kind of requirements. Very, very important to understand. Then only you will be able to work on those things. So now explode the array. How exactly we are going to explode the array, that we are going to understand. So we got the array in this step, that is array kind of data is there. So we'll say explode df, and there is a function out of it, df. Explode df like this with column. We'll create a new column firstly. And how, there's a function called as with column, by which you can create a new column, and we'll say like this order, and we'll explode the orders. Okay, how exactly you will do, you can pass a function explode. This will be used, this particular function will be used to create a new column. Firstly, call will be used to create a new column, and not a new column, basically to choose this column, and with column will be used to create that column, derive that column basically. So that we can derive like this, and let's call like this. And this is how you can just say display of explode, we'll just scroll it, explode df. Okay, explode df, just run it. If there is an error, we'll see, otherwise. Okay, so now you can see that we have like this data. Order ID is there, order ID 1, 2, and if 2 people have ordered something, so you can see the data also out of it. You can see that this data is also there 2 times, that Anurag entry is there now. Previously there was only 1 time Anurag entry was there and 2 orders were coming up and down. So now basically we have exploded the array, and now you can see 2 different entries are there. Okay, there are 2 different entries in this, and this is how it looks like. So basically with column, what it did, with column order, what exactly this particular thing did. So basically we are creating a new column called as order. This is what it looks like. This is the order column we created. And next thing, basically when we used explode call and orders, what exactly this meant. So explode takes every element inside the array and creates a separate row. From the API, it will create a separate row, and customer, this one, like a particular customer 101 has 2 orders, 2 rows should be inserted. Similarly, 1 order is there for 102. Similarly, 1 row we can see. This is what the things will look like. Okay, so now basically I want to extract fields from the structure. If I want to extract the fields like your explicitly, I want to extract only the customer ID, the order ID I want to extract, the product I want to extract, how exactly I can do that, and I can create a table out of it. How exactly? So next step is basically extract the fields from the struct. So this is just not about the questions, it is more about how exactly you can, like in the live environments, okay, when the questions are getting asked, so how exactly you will be able to answer these type of questions when you will be understanding about practical. It is not about only one question, there are multiple things to it. That is why I have taken a scenario, API scenario, then I talked about the creating different kind of schemas, nested schemas, then I showed you how exactly we can create a data frame with a schema, explicit schema, then I showed you how to explode that particular array, how it looks like, and then I will be showing you how you can exactly, like if I want to use only customer ID, how I can use that from this. If I want to utilize the order ID, how exactly we can do that. So we'll be creating a final orders df, okay, and we'll be saying it, we'll be calling it from explode df dot select customer ID. This is a customer ID. First thing first, we'll be talking about the customer ID. Let's give it in the single quotes, not double quotes. That is much better. Okay. Next thing, we want the customer name. Okay. Next thing, we want the customer name, and next thing what we want new column, that is we'll be creating a new column that will be called as the order ID. Then we'll be talking about the product and amount. I want everything in a proper DFs. Okay, so we'll be hitting this particular thing. How exactly you can hit? So you will be hitting like this, order ID. By this you can hit that particular column, and this will be aliased as, you can alias the column as order ID. Similarly, we'll copy this, we'll paste. Okay, the next is product. So product, next is amount. So the amount and product. So what we did, we basically have hit these columns here, and now we will be able to get the order ID, these things and all. So just run it off and just display of, as Spark is lazy, it does lazy evaluation. So till you will not display anything, it will be not showcasing any result. This is how it looks like. Much cleaner, much better. This was the source. Okay, this was the source of the data. Now the data looks like this. So this can be written into proper proper tables you can write, and this can be a source of truth or any kind of Power BI reports or any kind of visualizations you can create. or any kind of analytics you can do. Now this is much cleaner. This can be called as a gold layer. So that was the explanation to my this particular question. That is this thing. Okay, very detailed. I try to, it is not about the number of questions, the more is about the type of the questions can be asked in the interviews. So what is that? Explode helps you to remove the rows where arrays were null, right? Explode, we used explode here to explode the rows. The array was exploded into different rows, but there was a null array. There was Rahul, that was null, so it was removed. But there is a function called as explode outer. Explode outer says कि if there is null, then also I'll be showcasing you the data. Let me show you that if there is a null, then also I'll be showcasing you the data. No need to worry about that. If there are no orders, then also I'll retain that. So let me show you that also. Just it is waiting. And after this you can see the data here. After this, just if it runs, because many times what happens, there will be customers. Okay, so now you can see that there is Rahul and the empty array is there and he has not ordered anything. So that is the difference between like explode outer and explode. So basically we'll just do this. If it is explode outer, so you'll be able to see the data. If it is explode outer, and if I show like this, you'll be able to see the data. And if I display also, display of explode def, this can be a question that can be asked to you in the interviews. So be very rigid about this thing. This is how it looks like. So Rahul, you can see. Similarly, if you go further in the main df also, Rahul will be entered as null because this particular person has not ordered anything. So then also the customer is there. Okay, they have made the account. So this is the like production use case. If I tell you these kind of data you can get from Kafka, you can get from the REST APIs. Basically nested JSON files can be there. So these things will be very helpful. This is how you break down the JSON and get your useful insights into the tables, and at last you get this data, so the data analyst or data scientist can build their models and work on that. That is a very important question. Okay, so next question is that if there is a data frame union, like if I want to do a union on a data frame with different column orders, like column orders are different, if I want to do the union on that. So basically union says ki if there are number of columns are same, the type of column, the order of the columns are same, you can do a union on that. Okay, that is the constraint of doing a union, right? So basically if I want to do a union on different orders are different. So basically in interview it can be asked that two daily files contain, there are two daily files that contain same number of columns, same type of columns, but the column orders are different. These kind of questions can be asked to you. So basically how you will tackle this scenario, there can be different type of, if I write here only, you are getting daily files in that the columns are same but the order of the columns are different. Okay, so how you will safely combine them, that is a question. Okay, so how you will safely combine them, that is a question. Simple question that you are getting we are getting daily files. Okay, daily files are there. So if the columns, these things are different. Okay, these things are different. So how exactly we can combine them? So what will be different type of steps? Suppose there are two data frames. I'll give you that there is day one data. There are some examples. Okay. So as you can see here, there is day one data and day two data. You can see that this particular column is having is 5000 at the last in this particular data frame, is in this particular data, and in this one we can see it is in the start. The name is at the last here, it is in the middle. So basically how exactly will, if I want to showcase you the data also, like let's create a data frame. Df is equal to create, we'll give a name also, like spark.create data frame, spark.create data frame, and we'll name it as day one data df. Okay, and we'll name it as like this, and we'll just pass the day one data comma your proper this thing, that emp1 even emp id comma emp name. Okay, emp name comma salary, something like this. We are passing something like this, okay, and just it should be in double quotes. Okay, similarly let's create another data frame that is basically your second data frame, daily day 2, and this is the name. The order is different. First is salary, then is employee ID, then is employee name. Okay, this is what it looks like. So if I do a display also, display date, we'll do like this, copy paste, and we'll do copy paste of second also. Okay, just run it off. So in one command only I have written everything. So this is how it looks like employee ID is there, EMP name is there, and this is how it looks like. So basically if I want to do a union, normal union, how it will look like, basically if I do a union, if the column names, the pattern is same. So basically this is a wrong method. This is a wrong method. I'll just write it here. Wrong method to do union in such cases. Okay, just explicitly I'm writing it. That is wrong union. Okay, wrong union is equal to day 1 dot union, and in the bracket pass the day to df also. Okay, and just display wrong. If you'll display this, maybe mostly you'll get a different wrong data basically, and union matches the column positions and it does not matches by the column names. As you can see, it will give an error, like, right? Because what union will do, if in the interviews it will be asked that the column orders are different or the names are not in the same pattern or not in the correct, like the names are same but it is not in the correct order. So basically you will get error because union will match the position of the columns. In the second data frame, as you can see, the difference, like the position is different. In this the salary is at the last, in this the salary at the start. So what is the correct approach? How exactly you will do? There is a method called as right or correct, and we'll say it as correct. Okay, there is a method called as union by name. Okay, so if you do a union now and you just display this again, that is this, and just pass it here, just run it, so it will union by name now, and you can see the data now, you can see it here. Okay, we'll change the name of these person also. Okay, just randomly I'm taking my friend's name. If I'll do this, this is a wrong method, this will give you an error. This is the right method, this will give you the correct data. So this is how you have to use union by name, then only you will get the correct. So handling, if you want to if you want, there are some extra data, so you can create some extra columns also, and you can say as allow missing columns as is equal to true. That kind of things are also, like PySpark allows the missing columns as nulls. It allows you, like there can be scenarios where basically there will be a data 3 where basically employee ID is there, employee name is there, salary is there, and there is a department also. Like if I show you, if there is a scenario where there is a new data frame having missing columns, simple as that. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll create a new data frame, and okay, he works in IT, and this is how it looks like. So it creates a new data frame, display this particular df also. So now basically we have a new column called as department. Okay, we have a new column called as department, but in the previous data we cannot see department column. There is one new column. Okay, so how exactly we'll do, if you want to do a combine directly union, if I want to, suppose, okay, if I want to union it with the previous data, okay, that is combined df is equal to day, what is the name, day 3 df dot union by name, and I want to combine it by correct union. Okay, that is the correct one. So if I do this, what will happen? If I do this, what will happen directly? It will not allow you. It will give you an error. Just display it also. I think so. It should not give. Okay, so you can see that there is an unresolved column called as department because this is an extra column. So what we can pass, there is an extra functionality that PySpark gives you. Missing columns is equal to true. Okay, so I am allowing missing columns is equal to true. So now if you display, so you will be able to see the data, the new data you will be able to see, because now I am allowing the missing rows. So that is an advantage of PySpark if you want to use union. So okay, so now you can see that there was a department IT for one person where data was there, and for these people that particular column itself was not there. So that's why I'm getting as null. That is the most important question. So if in the interviews, in the follow-up question, people will ask you, that is this question, that is, does union remove the duplicates? There is a question, a follow-up question. Okay, follow-up question. If anyone asks you about this question, it is a follow-up question. Okay, so does union removes the duplicate? So explicitly you have to say no. Whenever you work with union and union by name behaves like a union all. Whenever you talk about union all in SQL, it is very similar to union by name or union. To remove any kind of duplicates, you have to do a distinct. You have to do, whenever you create a union, after this you have to apply a distinct on that, like this df.distinct.display. Then only you will be able to see the non-duplicate data. So it is very, very important for these kind of scenarios. Okay, so in the next class we'll try to talk about more type of questions. This was all about the things, and thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn about these things from very scratch, from very zero, we have an end-to-end bootcamp. Definitely you can explore that. It is up to you, and link and coupon code, everything there is in the description. Thank you so much, and if you show some more love on this, definitely we'll be coming up with more and more interview videos. Thank you so much. Bye bye.